Hi, I'm Bedford Hope, and I blog at www.acceptingdad.com about my experiences as a father of a gender nonconforming child. Um, One of the important things to know about bullying is that um, gender policing, gender conformity is a huge factor in who gets singled out, who is targeted. And um, as a parent of a gender nonconforming child, and as someone who was bullied in middle school myself, my presumption was that this was sort of a normal part of childhood, that this was inevitable, that um, my kid would have to learn how to be tough, and my kid would have to learn how to hide certain parts of himself, at least until he was a teenager, at least until uh, there were support groups in place. That there was no way he could be the person he was as a kid and have anything like a normal childhood. He would be when I saw my kid in the play corner at uh, preschool, um, and I saw him, dressing up as a ballerina or as a a fairy princess. I was just like, oh my god, we need to get rid of this. We got to stop this behavior, and not out of any really personal feelings about gender norms or uh, any kind of homophobia that I was aware of, but just out of this feeling that, oh my God, there's no way that my kid could have a decent childhood. But living when we do and where we do, and the nature of my own kid, his irrepressible spirit, what we found was it was not only impossible to suppress him, but it was unnecessary. And the reason for this, I think, had a lot to do with the environment created by the educators, the professionals that work with my kid and his peers. Um, our kindergarten teacher, our first grade teacher, the people at our preschool were they knew what to do. They knew how to handle uh, the bullying. They knew how to handle what happens when a kid is different in any way. And while our lives haven't been perfect, my son is now graduating 8th grade and going to high school. My son was never bullied. My son, and by bullied, what I mean is he never internalized the voices, the occasional, the put downs, the sort of the inevitable conflicts that we encounter as human beings. There's a difference between a world without bullying and some kind of impossible utopia where everyone is friends with everyone and everyone is nice. And it's important to realize that these are different things. Um, the world that can accept and embrace and tolerate these kind of differences is a better world. There's no sense in which bullying makes anyone better or stronger. People have a tendency, I think, to think about their own pasts and try to see silver linings, uh, try to see good in the bad. And a lot of people, as they move through bullying, I think, in the end, see those experiences as formative and think, well, I got through it. Other people get through it. But the reality is, a lot of people don't get through it. And um, what we know from sort of clinical experience of clinicians and professionals is that it's damaging. Depression is damaging. Bullying is damaging. It doesn't make anyone stronger. It doesn't make anyone better. And not only is it damaging for the bullied, but it's damaging for the bully. Uh, um, Bullies are frequently kids who need intervention, who need help as much as the kids that are bullying. Um, and so my message is really a hopeful one. It's just it's to tell people it is possible. There is no kid, no matter how different, no matter how out there, that has to endure bullying. It's not inevitable, it's not natural, it's not good, and it can be prevented. Safe spaces can be created by educators, by administrators, with the right kind of policies, with the right kind of responses, and through education, through tolerance, through legislation. My state has a lot of anti-bullying legislation, and it's one of the reasons why my kid's life, my kid's childhood, was great. He had a great childhood. I never would have believed it was possible. I never would have believed that my kid would have a life with so much less bullying than I experienced. I was a gender normative kid. I had glasses and braces. I liked comic books and science fiction, and that was enough to mark me as a target. And I suffered. Middle school, the worst years of my life. I just watched my son graduate from 8th grade, surrounded by kids, a lot of whom these kids loved him, and a lot of these kids didn't. And it didn't matter because the school was a place where he could be, and he could be himself, and it's possible. A world where bullying doesn't destroy lives is possible. It's something we just have to work for.